just in the polytunnel for a quick morning harvest as I let the chickens out. So this is a short video just shot on my phone, but I figured I'd just give you a little look at how things are going on. So these cucumber plants are still producing really well. This first one seems to be doing the best. We've kind of looped it over at the top, so they're growing it along. There's 3 in total, and the fruit that I was hoping would ripen seems to be bulking up. So I think we've got a few more weeks of these sort of guys. And then down this side is nearly all cherry tomatoes, and I've already picked a good bowl full. There's a few different varieties, but as you can see, loads on there. It's just a case of picking through them each day. A few of these basil plants that I stuck in the bottom, I don't know if this is normal, but the basil seems to be the slowest growing thing we've tried. But maybe next year we'll get a head start on those. Anyway, so I've done this side, and then we're along to some of the bigger. I mean, look how much is on there. I just hope it's going to ripen in time. But I'll start thinning out the leaves, get a bit more sunlight in here. It's only morning, so the sun hasn't really hit the tunnel yet. And then up to this end, all the varieties got mixed up, but there's still plenty down here that should ripen up. You can see they're just starting to kind of blush up there. So over this side there's a bit of a mixture. These are the black opal, they were called, so you can see they're kind of a darker ruby sort of colour. So these are cherry tomatoes, but they're not anywhere near as sweet as the others. They're more of a savoury taste to them, almost like a regular full-size tomato, but a bit more interesting, a bit darker. But I've noticed that they do split quite easily, so perhaps not the best variety to keep and store. But out of all of the tomatoes, they seem to have the biggest trusses, and I've already lost a few of these trusses because they're so heavy. I'm going to start stringing them up, I think. So you can see there, it's just started splitting. I mean, they're still great to taste. So I've had a few people ask about how the polytunnel is going as far as size, and I would suggest that 6 foot wide, you know, obviously Grandad gave us this tunnel, so we didn't have much choice, but 6 foot wide is probably a bit tight for tomatoes down both sides. I've kept tying them back slightly and keeping them trimmed, but you know, it's a little bit cozy in here, so come in and do the watering. So maybe 7 foot I would suggest is probably the best minimum size. But length, you know, this we cut it down, it's only 12 foot long, or 3.6 meters, and we've still got a good 16 plants in here, which for home use is plenty. I'm hoping we can just make loads of salsa and tomato sauce and anything else that we can freeze down and keep us going throughout the rest of the year. We eat so much tomato sauce and pasta, and of course with the pizza oven, that if we can process it all now and store it down, that's the answer, I think. So we lost all the outside plants to blight, so all we got is the green tomatoes from those. But the only pests I've noticed in here is the caterpillars. Not many, but there's a few around, and they're really hard to find, but they're just making a start on some of these leaves. But I don't think it's a huge impact, providing I can keep on top of it and just pick them off when I see them, and they soon get thrown into the chicken pen. There's this truss here which I've just been so worried about. Well, you know, it hasn't been keeping me up at night, but look at the size of that truss, and at the top of it you can see there that the weight has just split it right off, and I thought it would just die, cut off and fall off, but I figured, oh, I'd leave it on and see what happens, and actually it's still supporting it fine, and I didn't even touch it to tie it up. So I'm just going to carefully harvest from it and hope for the best. I think where it's split has actually hardened up and almost fixed itself. This might be the first of our main tomato crop. Not quite ripe yet, but there's a few there. It looks like some of our big ones are ready. I do find that you have to really pull back the leaves to check they're ripe, because they quite often look ripe in the shade, but then as soon as you shine a bit of light on, they're not quite so red. But I think these two are good to go. Smell great. So hopefully if they all ripen up like that, we'll have a good few to get processing into tomato sauce. Well, that's a pretty good crop for our morning harvest. And I wouldn't be surprised if 2 days time we'd be picking the same amount again. And then just to save the plant struggling under the weight, I'm just going to pull a couple more of these. Quite hard one-handed, but our little budget peppers are, well, they're actually doing alright in here. I'm not expecting big things from them, but it'll be a bonus if they harvest. So there you go, that is how the polytunnel is looking, and there'll be lots more, obviously, as you can see, to come out of here. But hopefully it'll all ripen in time before we head into the winter, and then we'll be reconfiguring this whole polytunnel with some benches and winter crops, and see what we can do over the colder months. Got to build some doors first. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.